Hi, everybody. I'm back again with another awesome story. I am Andrea. I own a practice in Los Gatos. It's Cultivated Health Acupuncture. I'm an acupuncturist by professional training. And I have with me here today Callie. And Callie has an amazing business. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell you a little bit about the business that both her and her husband are involved in. And yeah, Callie,
Hello.
welcome to the story.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm Callie, and I own Blossom Valley Boards. We're located in Los Gatos as well. My husband and I live here, and we started the business technically in September. So it hasn't been that long. It was kind of
Nice.
like a side hobby, kind of like in the works for a while before then, but full time, we launched in September. And the story kind of behind just I guess a quick little like overview of the business is I do charcuterie boards mainly. Definitely have done some like specialty items for some clients, and then my husband makes the boards for me. And I build my charcuterie boards on his handmade wood boards, which is one of the examples right here.
Awesome. So you actually start from the ground up in
Yes,
terms of what both of you guys had partnered in doing.
correct.
Your husband makes the boards,
Yes.
and then that's what
What
you
I
bring
build.
to your clients with
Yeah.
amazing, amazing stuff.
Right. Yeah. And he has he's a certified master arborist, and he's had his arborist company in the area for about 6-7 years. So he's been around for a while. We both went to Cal Poly. I studied food science. He studied forestry. And so he got right into kind of the arborist stuff after college. And then also was pursuing firefighting during that time, which he does now as well. So, and yeah, so he has kind of been collecting wood and like working on kind of making wood pieces for a long time. And so it really starts from a tree, like really the
Yeah.
ground up. It starts from a tree,
Yeah.
and whatever wood, we try to like repurpose a lot of the wood. We try not to let it all go into the chipper and go to waste. So
Well,
yeah.
what a beautiful combination in terms
Yeah.
of what you just explained to us, where your husband doing forestry and having a passion for, natural aspects of the world around us, the trees, full-time firefighter,
Yeah.
probably specifically in fire season, but then also has an arborist business.
Right.
Your background in food science,
Mm-hmm.
um, clearly evident in the amazing stuff you produce. And I'm going to invite everybody who's watching this video to pause and to go to Blossom Valley Boards and to open up your gallery side by side as they listen to the rest of this conversation, because it's amazing what you do. So tell me a little bit about your process, Callie, in terms of just your boards and what you put together.
Yeah. So I mean, how I've like to explain it is the board, which I guess I can show you. This is kind of like what we talked about. We do a couple, like, I mean, what's nice about them is that they come in all shapes and sizes. So like
Yeah.
if you were to order a wood board on Amazon or, wherever, it would be, you could order like 20 of the same exact shape and size, same thickness, everything. So like my inspiration really starts, like this is my canvas. So my inspiration really starts with whatever board I choose to work on that day, or whatever board, because my husband's continually making new boards, new cuts, either like this, like kind of with the bark still on there.
Yeah,
Sometimes
like a raw edge.
yeah, sometimes he'll take it off. So it's more of like a modern look, I guess. Even though it's still rustic because it's still wood, but like it does look. And then the same thing with like the thickness. Some are like a lot thicker, some are thinner, different shapes, lengths, all of that. So yeah, for my process, this is my canvas. So it kind of starts there, and like I get inspired looking at the shape of like the board. And I kind of start building from there. And I just kind of, there's like a little bit of a process. I've done some workshops, and so I've gotten a little bit better. Like I would say a year ago, if you asked me that same question, I would say I have no idea. Like I just do it. And then I've had to learn how to explain myself through these workshops that I've been doing. Cause when someone first approached me about a workshop too, I was like, I don't know if I can teach it. Like it's just, it's just what I do. And then I've learned how to like articulate it better and kind of teach it. So there's a bit of a process of like, if I'm doing a charcuterie board, I do typically start with like the cheeses. And I'll put my cheeses down. I try to cut my cheeses in different shapes and sizes depending on the texture of the cheese and like how it will eat the best. And then I kind of like go off of that. And then if I'm doing meats, I'll put my meats down, and then I'll do my fruits and nuts and like little fillers, and then I'll garnish with herbs and flowers and stuff. So that's like generally the process. Obviously I might go back, like that's not a hard rule. Like it's not that like once I put meat down, I can't go back and put cheese on. So yeah, I just kind of like, to say I just like paint with the food and just like look at the shape of the board and try to make things look symmetrical, but like in a fluid way. So like this board that I'm looking at, for example, like we can see there's like kind of a thicker part of the board. So I'm going to try to balance that out on the thinner side of the board so it doesn't look like this side is like top heavy. So I just like to make the overall product look really visually pleasing, but also like really tasty. Cause I think there's like a fine line between that. Like the food can sometimes look really, really pretty, but do you want to eat it? Maybe, maybe not. So, I try to like make it both and hopefully I achieve that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Everything you covered there totally brought me into your world. And I hope that people realize that there's this creativity and this artistry and this intention,
Yeah.
and this planning. And also for you, with you and your husband and your interests kind of coalescing in what you do as a business, that there's a lot of collaboration on
Yeah.
your part with your husband, but also a lot of passion.
Yeah.
The one thing I can say from the opportunity I had when I first met you is that you clearly know what you're doing when it comes to food. So this isn't just about finding something
Yeah.
and putting it on a board.
Right.
Your sausage, your dips are phenomenal.
Thank
You
you.
are, yeah. Yeah. And I love how it's clear that when someone's getting a board from you, they're getting a lot of different things from you. They're getting
Mhm.
wonderful food, beautifully presented. It's coming to them, hopefully, in the spirit of celebration,
Mhm.
of good nutrition and fun, you know, celebration
Yeah.
events. Where we gather around. I mean, it could even be like a date night.
Right.
A couple. You know what I mean? Where they want to make it a little special, and
Right.
they don't even know where to start to put a board together, and they want to do more than just put like meat and cheese on a plate, and they want to make it special. Like, you can provide them that element of wow, and they can make just a movie
Yeah.
night
It's
the
it's
next level.
it's like I feel like it's also something people like at events, or like you said, even a
Yes.
two-person date night, is because it is kind of something to talk about. Like, and what I also try to do, which I usually mention in my workshops too, is like flavor combinations.
Yeah.
And not only, again, going back to not only it looking pretty, but actually typically what I found, if something looks good together, it also might taste good together. So like having those contrasting colors and textures and stuff, like when you put that together on a cracker, it usually tastes really good too. So I try to like kind of build those on the board. And if you see like brie and then you have like some honeycomb and some like a strawberry or something, or maybe some candied nut or whatever, if I put those all together on the board, people are more likely to kind of put those together and make their own
Yeah.
combinations, and then they can talk about it, like especially at maybe like bigger events where not everyone knows each other, and you can talk about it and be like, oh, I put this cheese with this spread and it was so good. So I kind of that's also definitely like thought out when I make my boards. And again, having to remember like not just what looks beautiful, but also what would taste really good together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's tremendous. And I
Yeah.
think that, um, you know, I think of the like all the beauty and the celebration in the simplest of contexts, but I've seen boards that you've done that they could be phenomenal, like centerpieces.
Yeah.
And I
That's
hope people paused and went to your gallery and realized exactly what I'm talking about because, because they're gorgeous and, weddings, baby showers,
Mhm.
Christmas celebrations for sure. Times when we'll really go the extra mile and spend the extra money. And with all of the things that are part of those events, being able to turn over something that is going to look nice, it's going to add to the decor, but it's going to provide a tremendous amount of value in terms of just food and nourishment and celebration for people that are attending an event that you're
Right.
providing a board for.
Yeah.
I think I think that's really, really awesome
Yeah.
that people can understand about what you do and what you have a passion for
Right.
providing something for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
Um,
goal. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What specifically led you to starting your business? I know that there's definitely an artist inside of you.
Yes.
Had you used other types of art and art expression before you brought
Um,
that to the boards, or?
yeah, so I mean, I was always more like as a kid, I was always more like on the artistic side rather than, which is funny because I did end up getting a degree in food science, which was very sciencey and like
Yes.
mathematical. Um, but there was still that food element. And like
Mhm.
anytime there's food, I feel like there's creativity and like room for like kind of, yeah, room for creativity. So, yeah, so I was always really artistic as a kid, and then knew I liked food for sure because that was kind of always a big outlet for me. I definitely like dabbled in other types of art, especially in school. Like, you would do pottery and painting and all of that stuff. And so always enjoyed all of that. But like food and cooking was like, I actually, growing up, like every weekend I lived with with my mom, my sister, and my grandma, growing up, um and so every weekend, I think I started this when maybe I was like 10. I would call it Cal's Cafe, and I would make my grandma breakfast on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and I would like pretend I like had a cafe in our house. So I was like cooking for the family like when I was little. So yeah, food has always been a creative outlet, and just I think just an outlet for me. Um, and
Well, it
then
definitely shows in just your ability to put things together that,
yeah,
you wouldn't immediately think about. Like
right.
you're saying, like the brie and the honeycomb, and and I was just like, I'm right. I am with you. I'm
That's
like that.
good.
That sounds
Yeah,
really good, and
yeah,
I would never have thought of it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that people can count on when they come to you and they say, "Hey, Callie, can you put a board together for me?"
right.
A simple little skeleton of an idea framework, and they're going to come back and they're going to see this like masterpiece on a board, and it's going to be something that they're going to dynamically experience every time they
Right.
grab something and put it
Yeah.
together on your board and know
Yeah,
that
and
it's been done
I
with intention.
I totally appreciate that like hopefully as a parent when like when we're talking or when I'm talking to my clients, and I think it does translate because people ask me often like, "Oh, do you let the clients choose what type of cheese they want?" And I'm like, if they said, "Oh, I don't like blue cheese," like no big deal, but honestly, that's never happened. There's no one's ever requested or like try to dictate what product goes on the board, and I I am a little surprised by that, but it's nice to hear that. I guess that is like something that I guess is obvious maybe when you talk to me, that um that it's going to be a like, or I guess people like just like entrust in me,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we're gonna put the best product on the board. But yeah, people ask me like not clients, like friends or family will be like, "Oh, do they get to choose?" I'm like, I guess they could if they wanted to, but honestly, no one's ever asked. But
Hmm. Hmm.
and it really does, like, I'm thankful for that because it really does like allow me to just be creative, and I think that's when you produce the best product.
You have partnered with some amazing food charcuterie board, you kind of hit the gamut partners, and you are not going to give away any trade secrets here. You are very generous in sharing like the products that you
Yeah.
share. So if they want to see that information, they can go on your social media, they can
Yeah.
follow you, they can connect with you there. But I think it's really awesome that that's also an element of what you've brought. And a lot of those vendors, you've also brought in local businesses and local providers for
Yeah.
those. So that's
That's
really awesome.
That's huge for me. That is something I learned in my food science degree that I had another like passion for was I did my whole senior project on like organic eating and farming. So using those like local sustainable
Yeah.
vendors is also something that like really excites me. So and that's like we're so lucky where we live that we have so many great like creameries and farms and all of that so close to us. So the access to that is nice, and like why wouldn't you take advantage of that?
I feel like an investment in one of your boards, whether it's just the date night or whether this really, really special event, is an investment in getting to know things about your community that you didn't know about,
Right.
like all of the different vendors
Yeah.
that you use and the things that are on the board. And you're also really generous in featuring those people and sharing those resources with
Yeah.
people. So
Oh yeah,
go follow Callie.
I'm happy to do that. And yeah, that is true. I like if there is a cheese on the board and someone has a question about it, when I do catering events, I provide menus with all the details of like every single cheese,
Cool.
every meat, all of that, where the produce comes from. So that's all, written on there. And then if anyone has questions about the cheese, I try to, let them know where they can find it and everything, because I am like really proud of the products that we use on our board. So why
Yeah.
not share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've learned a lot of the backstory to Blossom Valley boards. And I know that around the holidays, the boards were an add-on item that people could buy. And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
The boards typically usually will come back and pick them up after you
Yeah.
do a catering job.
Mm-hmm.
But tell people really quickly about the new project that's in the works with what's in your backyard now.
Oh yeah. So the boards are like, like we talked about, they start with a tree. So starting from that raw material is certainly a process. It takes a long time to get it right. Especially with like kind of a one-man shop, like it's a lot. So we during this kind of downtime that we've had, my husband built a kiln in our backyard, which is going to dry the board. So typically a board like this was probably cut. This one we've had for a little bit. So this one was probably cut like 2 years ago, honestly. It dried for a year, and then once they're dried, so that they don't warp or crack or anything. So once they're fully dried, then we'll finish them, sand them, seal them, all of that good stuff. So yeah, that it can take a long time to make a board, but with the kiln, hopefully the goal is to dry a large quantity of boards. The kiln's pretty big, a large quantity of boards in like 6 to 8 weeks. So that will like speed up the board production process a bit. Well, actually a lot, not a bit. So that's in the works right now. We haven't had our first batch out yet because it was just built, but the boards are in there drying. So hopefully in like 6 weeks now, we can check on them and see how they're doing. And if they're fully dry and we can finish all the boards, and we'll have a ton more inventory, which will be kind of a new element to the business.
So like end of summer weddings, fall celebrations, going
Yeah.
into Christmas again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
that way too, I mean, we can hopefully keep the cost down a little bit, because the price tag on the boards is pretty high right now, just because of how long it takes my husband to make them and all of that. So, but if we're able to produce them more efficiently, then hopefully they can be like more available to people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So right now, definitely while people are at home more, if they want to make occasions a little special, I hope that they will take an opportunity to reach out to you
Yeah.
and take some of the planning and where am I going to get this stuff out of their worry. I mean, your board can make an event just by itself.
Thank you so much.
And by this point, people have looked at your website and they've looked at your gallery and they're drooling like I am. Like, I'm just like, that's awesome.
I'm glad to hear that.
Is there anything else you want people to know that you're doing right now?
It's been a tough couple months, like full transparency. So we're just now thinking about how to really like how to like kind of pivot and get ourselves back out there. We haven't been doing boards and stuff the past few months.
Mhm.
There just hasn't been a platform for it. And then also doing those smaller boards, they haven't, at least up until now, haven't really seemed feasible with like sourcing ingredients. And like normally we buy in wholesale, and like we can buy wheels and wheels of cheese, and for a big wedding those we use them all, like.
Yeah.
But trying to it's now we're trying to find a balance with like still trying to keep it like attainable, the prices, and then also sourcing the ingredients that we want still. And so it's been quite the journey, I guess. So yeah, right now where we're at was we're like starting to think about how to like reassess the business, I guess. So
Well, I think you might need to add some private labels for some of your magic sauces and dips.
oh yeah, yeah, and that's been in the thought too of doing more of that type of service, and we'll see. But
Yeah.
so things are a
Yeah.
little bit up in the air, just being honest. But I think we're feeling more hopeful that we can in some way still get our product out there, even though it's felt
Mhm.
really difficult, and like it hasn't felt like there's been a platform for it for a
Mhm.
while. And then trying to envision one seems hard too. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we're trying to stay positive and hopeful and see where things go. So
Well, I think the beautiful thing is that there's a lot that we're looking forward to celebrating as
yeah,
we go into the summer. And I hope that this exchange and this conversation allows people
yeah,
to get to know like who is behind Blossom Valley Boards, what is the story, what am I really getting when I get something from Blossom Valley Boards, and also to realize how much it can add to some of those celebrations
yeah,
that we're going to be looking forward to. So I
yeah,
hope people take an opportunity to look at
yeah,
everything that you've done and what you can do,
yeah,
and to reach out and have a conversation with you about how you can be a part of their next event.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be a lot of information when this gets posted. It'll be posted on YouTube, it'll be posted on Instagram, and you'll be able to also see all the different ways in which you can follow what Callie's doing on social media, as well as reaching out to her in person. There'll be contact information there. And other than that, Callie, thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you
this
so
morning.
much.
It's been awesome to have a conversation with you and to
Yeah.
hear about the kiln in your backyard and to
Yeah.
understand a little bit more about your husband's passion and what he brings to this business. And I
Yeah.
hope that people see your boards now at a whole different light.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.